LSU at Alabama. Let's go to the SEC.
Oh boy.
We got a big one here in prime time. It's the SEC Saturday night CBS game, the annual one. Alabama 3-point favorite over under 61.5. Major injury news to lead off with LSU. Their defense ravished by injuries. They're much maligned defense, which if you remove games against Army, Grambling, it's an Auburn who can't throw it. It's bad. The pass defense is bad. They're very talented, and against the teams that are way more talented that can't throw it, they can obviously stop the run. But their defense has major issues, and now you won't have Mekhi Wingo, who is your best run stopper in the middle, third-team All-American last year. He had surgeries out for the rest of the season. You also, look, before the season, LSU had to get a brand new secondary. They went out and they got 4 transfer quarterbacks. They got J.K. Johnson out of Ohio State. He's, in the fall, he had surgery. He's out for the year. You got Deuce Chestnut, Denver Harris, Zy Alexander. They're all out. Some of them are hurt. Some of them are in the doghouse with Brian Kelly and just aren't going to play. That's confirmed. The secondary is a mess. The corner situation is a disaster. Alabama, injury situation. Marshall, their linebacker, he missed the Tennessee game. He's questionable. Terrence Ferguson, he's missed over a month with an ankle sprain. Not a huge deal. And Terrion Arnold, their corner, he practiced after a concussion. I think he'll play. Bama offensive line hasn't been great. Latham's a monster. But left tackle Proctor, he's young. He's been bad. And their center, Seth McLaughlin's, he's really struggled. I don't really know what's going on with him. He was good last year. He has snap issues, penalty issues, his grades out poorly. So the Bama offensive line has been great. That's why, they're allowing a ton of pressure, there's a lot of missed assignments, a ton of tackles for loss. This is a really interesting game. The LSU offense is rolling, and it's good on good against the Alabama defense. But it's hard for me to see Alabama completely shutting down this LSU offense, which is just on another level right now. Now you go to the Bama offense. The way that I look at this is that with the corner situation, I think you just have to, dare Alabama to run it. Hope you get some stops. Hope you get some sacks, because you have some good pass rushers on third downs to get them behind the chains. Because how I see this playing out, I think LSU is going to win this game. Just my sneaky suspicion. The line is sharp, though. I wanted to bet LSU. Probably throw them in a round robin. But on the money line is very sharp here at 3. What I think is going to happen is this Alabama offense, look, it just goes into these funks because Milroe's so inconsistent. He's not the type of quarterback that's going to drop back, pick you apart, and pick a bad secondary apart because he's just too inaccurate. Even maybe against LSU where there should be guys wide open. And then he's going to take a couple sacks, right? And then all of a sudden, you're third and longs, you take some sacks. This offense goes into just a shell and it tanks for like a quarter or two. His deep ball, he's one of the best deep ball passes in Alabama history, one of the best deep ball passes in the country. He's going to hit a couple of them. Everyone is against LSU. So he's going to hit some explosives. I think Alabama will have a ton of success running the ball, but I think they're just going to have, even though LSU's defense is so bad, I think they're going to have these just lulls as they've had all year. And I don't think you can afford to do that against LSU's offense. So there's major questions with this LSU defense, but I don't know if Alabama's offense can consistently take advantage. I'm curious to see how LSU plays this schematically. Like, do they take away the run, try to cover Alabama, knowing you're going to give up some explosives, but knowing that you're probably going to get some sacks and Milroe will be inaccurate, or you just sit back, let Bama run it down, try to stop them in the red zone, try to make a couple plays behind the line of scrimmage. Very interesting chess match, which will then determine the total, how LSU plays it, in my opinion. But I think LSU is going to win, but the line is very sharp, probably throwing around Robin. What do you see here?
I took Bama -3. My handicap, I think, is different than everybody else in the world. Both of these I know it's easy to sit there and pick on the LSU defense. Trust me, I get it. And it's easy to pick on Jalen Milroe's decision-making. I get it. But to me, these two offenses run the same thing with the same type of quarterback principles. Let's start off with LSU running inside zone with Jaden Daniels. Now, Alabama defends it at a 59% success rate, which is extremely high, and they leave opponents with a negative EPA. So if Jaden Daniels is not able to run inside zone, he's going to pull it back. And who's he going to look for? Malik Neighbors on the slant immediately. Now, Alabama is 10th nationally in preventing rush explosives, so I don't expect anything to come out of the run game, but you have to focus on who's going to guard Malik Neighbors. Now, we mentioned Terry Arnold. He's cleared concussion protocol last week to start practices. We assume that he's going to play in this game, but Malachi Moore also highly ranked in slot coverage. So Terry Arnold, Malachi Moore, they play slot coverage. That's who's going to be on Malik Neighbors. Both of them rank within the top 100 of slot corners in all of PFF. So Alabama, I think, has got it covered. They're considered the number one graded coverage team of all PFF. They've got it in the slot corners to handle Neighbors, and they have a 59% success rate in defending inside zone with Jaden Daniels. So I feel comfortable on that side for Alabama. When you go to LSU's defense, completely different story. 44% success rate in defending inside zone. That is terrible. PFF ranks Bama's offensive line, and I know that you just talked about some of the inconsistencies they have. They definitely have inconsistencies when it comes to stopping a pass rush. But PFF grades their offensive line as 8th in run blocking, and a lot of that has to do with inside zone. Milroe has been hitting explosives with his hot read, 5th in pass EPA. Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, Jermaine Burton are all over 2 yards per route run. Milroe, believe it or not, 17 big-time throws, 10 touchdowns on the season, 0 interceptions on throws beyond 20 yards. LSU does not have.
I don't think he even has any turnover-worthy throws on those either.
LSU does not have a single. I talked about Terry Arnold and Malachi Moore being highly graded in slot corner coverage for Alabama. LSU doesn't have a single safety or cornerback in the top 200 of PFF grading. So to me, this comes down to who can defend inside zone better. It's Alabama. Who can defend the slot coverage better, especially with Malik Neighbors. That's Alabama. I'm going to play Alabama. By the way, I got a big special teams advantage here too. So maybe that comes into play with punts and field position, whatever, but I'm going to back Alabama here.
I hope Alabama rolls, gets their revenge, and I can back my Cats as double-digit dogs at home next week in a good spot. Because I think Kentucky matches up pretty well. But
if LSU wins, I have to go out in the backyard and pull up that LSU national championship ticket I bought last January. See if it's got some legs.
No, so you're covering all your bases here. Alabama bet, and then you can bring out if that loses, you can bring out your LSU ticket, dig it up out of the ground.